1, 2. Check. Hi.
Hi.
So,
Hmm?
well, we'll figure that out right now. So, can you hear us, Harshita?
Yeah.
So she can hear us. So why don't we just swing this around? Sorry, that's wax. I couldn't get it. You can play with fire. I like fire during shows. That's not bad. I know. Does that feel good? Is that good for you?
I can't really hear her.
This is well, you know what? Maybe so I'm used to this. Maybe try that on and see what happens. Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
Not really, no.
Well, there's two choices. There's here and there's here. How much closer can we get? I want to get too close. Let's switch.
What's better, I mean, it doesn't, she doesn't have to be able to see us as much as she needs to be able to hear us, right? Okay. Wait.
We're gonna change mics here. Oh, now speak if it. Hold on.
What?
Try it's gonna be this right here.
Oh, that, okay.
Now I can hear you.
Is that better?
Can you hear better?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. So we're using this one.
I can't hear you with the microphone.
How about you hear me better like this or like this?
That's about, I wouldn't use the mic if you didn't need it, yeah.
Wait, I can't hear you again. I was able to hear you and now I can't.
So you can hear me when I'm here, right?
Yeah.
But if I come here and I project, can you hear me here?
Oh, yeah, now I can. It's like cutting like in and out. Like sometimes I can hear you, sometimes I can't.
Well, you'll just have to do your best guess of when we
All
start
right.
talking.
You can have it.
Okay, at least we can hear you fine and I think we're, because we know what you're saying.
Okay.
All right, let me go make a final call.
Okay, make sure you tell them we've got Harshita moderating virtually from. Yeah.
All right, we got people coming in. I guess, okay, we're all hiding. It looks like there's no one here for the panel. I promise the panelists are here. We're just not sitting where we're supposed to yet. Yes, I'm going to get a picture of us with Marcia. Yeah, I so. I know. Talking about. Really mean that. Yes. It's nice of you. I like it about getting girls with sign.
You got it back though? Nice. Yeah.
All of them. He's right there. Hi, Harshita. Oh,
Hi.
this hour is. We printed out her face and her baby.
So you don't have a.
You're on a giant screen behind her, so we can't really see the little. We're actually looking at all. We're talking to you.
Right, I'm sorry, that's.
It's funny. You should have like, sort of like cut out her face. No.
Oh, I could have. Overthink it. Well, I think we'll go ahead and get started, Joe. So, yeah, all right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to our final panel today, sponsored by the host, the international host today. So this panel, we're gonna talk about. No. So I'm gonna get out of the way. We have a special guest joining us via Zoom. So I'll let her introduce herself, or if you'd like to do it, Juliana. Or she is gonna kick us off. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, if you watch any of the videos running through the meeting today, they were created by Harshita. So Harshita, take it away.
Welcome to our Women in Innovation panel to celebrate Girls in Innovation Day. WAI began in 1990 and since then has focused on developing our current and future aviation workforce, developing an inclusive and sustainable aviation and aerospace industry, and inspiring girls to pursue careers in these fields. I'm Harshita, and joining me today are JB, Liz, and Gianna. Ladies, could you take a moment to introduce yourselves?
Thanks, Archie. So I'm JB. I am a quality manager for Lockheed Martin. Within Lockheed, worked for Sikorsky Aircraft for about 14 years. My job is to basically make sure that the aircraft are safe and do what they're supposed to do, help with the testing, make sure that they're built to the design, and help other people learn how to do that. Also do a lot with our Women's Impact Network at work. So we have a lot of different groups to help people with career development at work, and that's one of my favorite things to do. Great.
Thanks, Julianne. My name is Liz Crockett. I currently teach engineering to high school students here locally. However, my aviation experience is 20 years via maintenance. I've been with Lockheed Martin for most of that time, so Sikorsky and Pratt and Whitney. Yeah, so I taught my school. Oh, my school job. Yeah, so is this the experience question that we're doing? I'm sorry, I'm just introducing myself. I'm totally new to this. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so my background, I teach high school kids engineering, right? I'm taking my aviation background and bringing it into the classroom. I teach them about hydraulics, pneumatics, electrical systems, mechanical systems, and how they all work together. That's what I do currently, and I really, really love it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gianna. I'm really new to the industry. I've only been here for about 6 years now. I'm currently a flight attendant with American Airlines, so I'm working more in the commercial airline aviation industry. So for me, it's customer service. It's just a regular, cute, fun job. My background, I actually got a high school and a college degree in arts, so I did fine arts for most of my life. My brother ended up becoming a airplane mechanic, so he got me into the idea of like aviation sounds really cool. So once I finally got my job as a flight attendant, I actually started looking in the front end, and I was realizing that being a pilot seemed really cool and a lot more technical, a lot more challenging, and a lot more just stimulating. So I am trying to focus on that for my next portion of my career. So that's what I do. Commercial airline is pretty much my field now, and I apply, even though I did art in high school and in college, I apply that creativity and the creative thinking skills every day whenever I go to my job. And you can do that as well as a pilot because you have to think creatively. There's plenty to think about, plenty of problem solving, and but thank you.
And I'm Harshita. I'm a junior in high school, and I do robotics for my local robotics team. And I'm also part of field hockey. And then I also made those videos that you guys watched earlier. And yeah. So now we're going to jump into some of the topics that we thought you'd enjoy hearing about. Let's jump right into the questions. So what type of education or experience would I need to do your guys' jobs?
Question. So as a quality manager, it is a lot of problem solving. It's also a lot of looking at data and information and trying to understand what it means. So my background was actually in college. I did family and consumer sciences and social sciences, which helped me with the people aspect of my job. But a lot of what I do day to day now was learned on the job from people who had done it before me. So the best things that you would need to learn are problem solving skills. If you have chances to do data analysis, learn about understanding data, a lot of the different things that you can do in school now with computer sciences, and like Harshi mentioned, doing robotics clubs. There's a lot of different CPS clubs that you can do while you're in school. Anything like that is going to help you with those skills. And then on the people side, definitely communication skills, communication practice. If you can do things like debate team or speech team or things like that in school. I think somebody said it in an earlier panel when we talked to the FAA is that you can really be really knowledgeable about a subject. If you can't communicate it to other people, then it's really hard to get done what you're trying to get done. So anything that you can do to get practice with that is always really good as well.
Cool. Yeah. So, although I'm currently a teacher, I'm going to speak for the aviation maintenance journey, right? Everything that Julianne said, all of that, and then, aviation is so process driven, right? So if you can do a recipe, if you can read those instructions and do that, you can do anything in aviation, maintenance, flight attendant, quality, right? We are a safety sensitive industry, and therefore a lot of what we do is already in writing, as you said, by someone else. You really just have to be able to follow a checklist and do what it tells you to do. And also think creatively, not only doing that, but also thinking, why am I doing this? Does it make sense? Maybe is there a different or better way to do it? Right. But as far as aviation maintenance career, I really advocate for it. My journey was through a 2-year program at a community college where I became certified to practice aviation maintenance by the federal government, right? And with that, I could go out and get a job that had a good living wage. And I got more and more experience in industry, and I got jobs with better companies that then paid for my education. So really, if you can follow that path, I am halfway through my doctorate coursework with a aviation philosophy degree. And I really haven't paid for any of that education with the exception of my current doctoral coursework. Because once you get into industry, you can find jobs in companies that will pay for your schooling, right? So I know I'm probably taking a little more than my time, but 2 years up front at a community college or even a high school, and you can just take off and have them educate you.
For flight attendant, there are 2 parts to it. The biggest part, most important part is going to be the safety aspect to it. Aviation is all about safety. We love being safety nerds here. The thing you see the most about flight attendants is obviously like serving passengers, putting a smile on, and just kind of creating a fun environment in the plane. But when we go for training for once a year and also for a month and a half in the beginning of your training is all safety related. I think we spent maybe like a day or two on customer service, but what our main purpose is in there is that we need to be able to evacuate a plane quickly if we do have an emergency. Thankfully, safety is a lot better nowadays than it used to be, so we do have many amazing procedures in place that keeps us very safe. Accidents are very rare, but in case they do happen, we are highly prepared because we are trained once a year on everything to do with opening the doors quickly, medical emergencies, evacuation emergencies, all of that is like covered in like every year we have to go through that. So people do, if you are applying to become a flight attendant, people will be looking at your safety aspect of your readiness to be able to follow the rules, follow the procedures, and get things done proficiently. The other half of it is the customer service part. That's what we deal with most of the time in our career. Obviously, we're not evacuating a plane every day, but we are talking to people, we are saying hi to people, we're presenting a neutral, like, we're happy to have you here, you know, just meeting tons and tons of people every single day. So being able to do that consistently, multiple flights a day, like thousands of people, that's what people are going to be looking for if they're trying to hire you. They want to see that customer service experience as well as your professional qualities.
And you don't give yourself enough credit. I would say flight attendants do a lot more than just all that. There's a lot of emotional labor that goes into that. When you're diffusing situations, when you're on an aircraft for long periods of time and people get upset, right? You have to know a lot about psychology, right? There's a lot that goes into your job specifically, and a lot of people don't see. Oh, when you think of flight attendant, you think, where's, you know, my snacks and everything else, right? Or how can I get off the plane in safety? But just the entire time, you're constantly like creating that sense of community so that people, you know, can get along for long periods of time in small spaces. We all know some of us have a hard time.
But the right thing to say is,
Yeah.
was like a whole skill for sure. Comes with experience.
Cool.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So tell me about a time when you guys got to do something really cool at work or you saw something really cool.
So I was gonna share one story, but I was just out talking to one of our great people that's out here to facilitate one of these activity tables today, who reminded me of my other favorite, so I couldn't decide, so you get two stories. So the one I was originally gonna share, I don't know how many of you have seen the 76D that is out here in the museum, my personal favorite. I think it's a beautiful aircraft out there. There's some older Sikorsky's as well, but I love the D, having personal experience with that, and it's just so pretty. My general manager of our site became a pilot on the 76. She wanted to understand our product. It wasn't her original job. She's already a manager. To be able to talk about our product, she chose to take lessons and learn how to fly it at that. So she came through the facility one day asking, hey, do you want to go for a ride? Do you want to go for a who's got time? And she took a group of us on the S-76, flew us to New York, and flew us around the Statue of Liberty. So I hadn't seen the Statue of Liberty from the ground yet. At that time, my first time seeing her was from the air. And if you've seen her either way, insanely amazing experience, but seeing her from the sky is a whole different aspect. It was so emotional. This fantastic. It was the coolest thing to come home and say to my kids, I got to fly the Statue of Liberty today. So that doesn't happen in non-aviation careers. That was so cool. So that was the one. And then actually back at the beginning of my career, the one that I remember talking about there was I was on fixed wing aircraft, airplanes versus helicopters like you're going to see today. And we did a flight to one of our vendors that supplied things to us. And when we're flying back, we hit a house. Luckily, I was with the pilot, was an instrument flight, because we could fly without being able to see the ground and everything around you. And we flew into a cloud. We couldn't see the tips of our aircraft. We couldn't see the nose. It's just me and him in this power of clouds. It was the coolest thing I have ever seen. So those are the kinds of things that can happen. And again, I'm not a pilot. I'm not a mechanic. I'm a quality manager, but we do, you know, support flight tests. We support making sure that things are ready or test things on a flight. So we get to have these experiences. So even if you have a career in human resources or facilities or things like that, some of the people were on that aircraft when we did that flight to the Statue of Liberty, and there, you know, a lot of them are there when those things take off, so you can experience those things even in jobs that you might think of as aviation. So it's pretty cool. Even if you go into something you don't think of as an aviation field, you look at doing it at an aviation company, you can get some really.
Yeah, mine also revolves around travel. The cool stuff about aviation for me is just the experiences. When I worked in Madison, Wisconsin, that was my first job in aviation. I was working for an airline outstation maintenance, which means that I would load you and your bags onto the aircraft and then fix it if it broke. In northern or southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and I saw the Northern Lights overnight for the first time there. I traveled to Greece, Poland, Hawaii, all over with my company. I actually went to Poland and accepted an aircraft from our facility there that was going to LA County Fire Department to fight the fires there. And so you really do get to meet a lot of people. And I think that it's sort of symbiotic in the way that, you know, those experiences then feed back into my idea that I can help improve aviation, right? So experiences are a really big thing for engineers and people that need to think critically, because they help you think outside of your normal conventional thinking, right? So take advantage of all the experiences if you can travel.
Kind of along the same wavelength with Liz, like my favorite thing and also the coolest thing about my job is the vastness of it. I'd say flexibility. The flexibility isn't like the most exciting word, but it's vast. You can do so many things with it. You can go to so many places. The way I did my schedule is that you can choose whether you want to be on call, and if you want to be on call, what will happen is that scheduling will give you 2 hours notice and tell you you're going to Lisbon, Portugal, pack your bags, let's go.
Yeah.
So that's highly exciting. You can choose to have a regular schedule, and I can bid for, say I want to see my buddy in California. Oh, there's a California trip. I'm gonna go there so we can have dinner together. I get to see my friends around the country all the time. And the other thing is, the other aspect of it is that because it is such a vast industry, along the same lines as this, where there's like so many different careers and so many different jobs and so many different aspects of this industry, it is one way to get to doing all these different things that you have interests in. So one example is that once I looked into the flight deck and became interested in flying, now the company that I work for will offer these programs and offer loans and offer these opportunities for me to get a step up into becoming a pilot. And that's what I plan on doing. I want to take advantage of that. Even though originally I saw myself as a flight attendant for the rest of my life, now I have this other opportunity where I can have my pick of eating too. So there is plenty of opportunity, even if you choose one thing in aviation, that does not close doors to anything else, and you have a vast selection of like what you want to do, especially if your interests change.
So what made you guys choose to come here and speak to everyone today?
We have a lot of reasons for being here today. I would say the main thing for me is that when I was in school, even in college, I didn't know this job was a job. I had no idea. I thought, if I want to be in aviation, it's, pilot or go in the military, which a lot of, people in our industry have done, which is really cool, but those weren't the path for me. And so, even though I was very interested in aviation, I didn't consider a career in it. So I went to college for something else. My first job out of college worked for something else. I actually ended up at an aircraft company called WAI doing data entry. Where it all started and shifted for me. And then, as the team has said, we have so many opportunities in it. So from there, I learned to be an inspector. I learned to be, inspecting when they did the flights. And I learned to do the supplier quality end of it. And so once you're in there, there's so many different ways and paths. And so now looking back, and there are a lot more degrees that are even quality management specific or aviation quality management specific degrees now that weren't really prevalent back then. But also just if I had known that was there, then there may have been other things that I took advantage of then that would have set me up, a lot sooner to do some of the things I want to do, some of the things that are fun. So that's the main thing for me, is having a chance to come out and let other people know that you can have any background and find something that maybe fits you. And it's all really cool, and you can tailor it to whatever you're good at, whatever you're interested in, it could be anything. So just letting other people know that that's an option for you. Cool.
Yes, I'm here with a very specific, agenda, I guess I could say. I'm representing two organizations today, right? I'm representing Women in Aviation International, which, this event, Girls in Aviation Day, is their event. But I'm also representing my current employer, who is, TCHS Brain. So, as I said before, I came from aviation maintenance and now I'm teaching. What I intend to do is to carry my 20 years of aviation experience forward into my new career in academia. And why this is important is because I really believe it would be a large benefit to the local community. I know that there's an industry need. I worked in it at the Coatesville facility for Sikorsky before they shut down. I know that a company is coming into that facility now and starting up the same sort of business, right? So I have experience with that business. I know that there is not a local aviation school, right? So there's definitely a need for aviation, mechanically inclined people to support the industry locally. And there's a need to educate these people. And so my intent is to make the connections within the community so that we can fill this industry need and offer students cost-effective career choices, like I spoke about earlier, right? When I went to school to do this, and to be clear, I did not go right out of high school. I took a year because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But this can be done in high school, and that's what I would like to do, right? I would like to network and plan next steps to bring an aviation high school to Chester County. And that's why I'm here. I've been talking to a lot of people about it, something I'm passionate about, and hopefully somebody's hearing this and can help me do that.
Yeah, and if you saw when you come in, there's the history of aviation in this area is highlighted here. So much of what happened in aviation and the discoveries and innovations and everything happened here. Why wouldn't we want this to be the place where the people driving people?
Yes.
For me, I'm here, because we're all geeks, right? Like you've talked to all of us, we're all very, very we have a lot to say about like everything going on here. So I'm a geek, I'm a nerd about all this stuff, and I just want to share that with people. It's fun, it's a lot of fun. In terms of just like a more broader goal for today, it is important to kind of just give the resources that we have. We have a ton of resources, and it is just important for us to share that with everyone. Young people, women, adults, everyone that has any kind of interest in airlines. We're here to show you that we have everything that we can have to give to you and give you like the supplies to set you up for success in the future. So I've done one Girls in Aviation Day event before. I've seen the effect that it has on people, and that's just why we're here. If this is something you have an interest in, then we have things for you to set you up for moving forward. And this doesn't have to be like the thing. This doesn't have to be like your one-stop shop. Like you can do whatever you want, but if you do have an interest in airlines, we have everything you need to like get you started on this path. And again, we're geeks, so we're really happy to be sharing everything with you.
Yeah, the truth is the main reason we're all here is because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So does the audience have any questions they'd like to ask?
They're being very shy.
I have a question.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, it's the same question I asked of the FAA folks.
Okay.
So, the question is, one sentence, maybe two, so brevity here. Brevity really helps you to hone what you're saying. So, in one or two sentences, what advice would you give to a girl who has an interest in an aviation career? One or two sentences. What's the heart of it? What would you say?
Number one is do what you're passionate about. Whatever that skill is, don't try to force yourself to do something you think you should do or people tell you. is the right thing for you. Follow what your passion is because that will make you better at it. And number two is connections. Meet everybody you can, talk to everybody you can. If you're not someone who likes to go off and do the complete conversation with a stranger, which a lot of us aren't good at. LinkedIn, use the technology, you can connect with people without having to go up and have, you know, a cold call conversation if that's not your comfort zone. Go with your skills. And we do a lot of activities that work on introvert versus extrovert skills and leveraging those. And so there's ways to make those connections no matter what your personality type is or what you're comfortable doing, but that is a critical thing. Things like this, I wouldn't know this cool event was happening if I didn't know Liz. There's just so many things like that. So connect with people.
Well,
Wasn't
and
brief,
Julian,
but
that was
connect
great.
with us.
That was very great, but I think that was more than 2 sentences. Maybe there's a run-on sentence, kind of like, yeah. I need to apply that, sorry.
Maintenance is not a dirty job.
I love it.
That's true.
If you're already interested, I was gonna clarify, if they're already interested.
Yeah.
Right, because I'm not trying to convince them. Go into maintenance, it's not a dirty job. It's a 2-year program. You can become a teacher. I mean, look what I do, right? I wasn't always turning wrenches. You can draw, you draw blueprints. That's a lot more than 2 sentences. One sentence, is, maintenance is not a dirty job.
There you
I love that.
My 2 sentences doesn't count.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Mm.
And, don't think that this is the one-stop shop. There are other opportunities that you can look for.
Excellent. We have a question.
What other kinds of jobs would you list?
Air traffic control, anything that you can do in the civilian world, there is a counterpart in aviation. Yes.
Engineer.
You can even do,
Software.
you can even work as a manager inside of a flight school. You can do a desk job. That, a lot of people can do that for sure.
Some of the critical people keeping us going are, you know, facility, human resources. So I said any role can be part of that aviation support system.
Psychologists.
Yeah.
I know people who clean planes.
Yep.
Definitely.
Any other questions? They don't like or ask any questions.
No pressure.
I was asking John about passing the good over the ground.
A lot of times you'll find, fun facts, if somebody is in a really bad mood or causing problems, you'll find that you can solve most problems by just, by what? Yeah.
What is that?
Act even more awkward than they are, so they don't know what to do with you.
Oh, okay. Have good work.
That's just my natural state. You can find, okay, you can find that you can solve most problems by approaching people with respect, with neutrality. You know, don't put on a face, don't, you know, just kind of come up to them and be like, what is it that I can do for you? That's it. If people find that they feel respected and seen and heard and stuff, 75% of the time, that'll solve it.
And the other 25% is chocolate.
Yeah.
Decided to do your videos and this channel.
Oh, is this me? Sorry, I can't really hear it well.
So the question is, what motivated you to create these videos?
So ever since I was young, like elementary school, I've always been involved in science and technology and interested in it. And I noticed like kids around me, they'd always they weren't as interested as I was, or they'd sort of put it off as like oh, you have to be a genius to do it. So then I wanted to like sort of get rid of the stereotype and show that you don't need to be a genius to do science. And there are so many different varieties of careers in the STEM field that people don't even know exist. So I wanted to like let people know about that.
happy she said that because we were talking outside about how your experiences are what matter, right? You may not know how to fly anymore, right? But if you come to that group with just one piece of value that you can bring, right? We need that. My suggestion is find your value and bring it to STEM, right? Your value might actually be art. Bring it, we need it. We need ways to think outside of like, in my classroom, I've actually brought green things in, right? We need to think about how what we do affects the environment, how it affects other people around us, how it looks aesthetically, right? So there's art. We need more of that sort of unconventional orthogonal thinking instead, right? Just because you're not a nerd or like a genius, like she said, you don't have to be a genius. You just have to be passionate about what you do, find something you love, bring that value to a team that can then help it grow.
Yeah, there's
You
a
know?
place, there's certainly a place for everyone.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to be the top at whatever subjects you have.
No.
And also, I'll let you know, I mistake my right and my left all the time and I fly planes, so I have a license. They let me fly planes. And also this does not work, okay?
No?
They both look like L's. They both look like L's. But yeah, there is definitely a place for everyone. Go for it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Who cares? You have like a whole life ahead of you.
We need you and your ideas, right? We do. Your
Don't write it
experiences.
now. You don't wait, you can start getting involved in. So if my kids were here today hoping with the activities and everything that's going
And
on.
right now, there is a desperate pilot troop, right?
There's a shortage in pretty much all of them.
All the- all the-
So
Yeah,
don't be
pilots
afraid
and-
don't be afraid of competition. I'm terrified of competition. It unmotivates me, but it's nice being in an industry where it's like, if you have something special, then you're in. You know, if you care, if you put in the work and stuff, you're in. You don't have to worry about competing with like hundreds of thousands of other people because we do need people. For sure.
I know people that definitely not know this, so. Maybe everybody.
Everyone, quite educational institutions in the area of aviation. Well,
Pittsburgh Aviation Institute is in Pittsburgh. Does Drexel have?
Drexel
engineering?
just started partnering with Lockheed
Okay.
on a certificate, and then will become a degree specifically because of the need and the gap.
I was going, I don't think that was aviation.
No, AIM, there's one Aviation Institute of Maintenance is in Philly, I think. I don't know exactly where, but,
But it's like
and that's a college. It's a college. My vision is high school.
Right.
Like these students that are in my class, this stuff that they're learning is the stuff that I learned at AIM. Right? So we just have to package it up in a way that the FAA will buy it, basically. I don't mean to say buy it. I know it's saying kind of a dirty word, right? But you have to get buy-in, right? I've already gotten preliminary buy-in. I've talked to administration where I work, my facility, and they said next steps is a plan. Bring us a plan and we'll consider it. So that's what I have to do. I have to educate myself on what it takes to get that buy-in from the FAA. I was hoping they'd be here today. I was going to have a conversation with them. But I have some contacts, I think, like Tim Chop maybe, or Mike Whistler. Because I think we have.
We
talk
can reach
like,
out to
the
them.
Lido.
I know they could.
Yeah.
The letter.
Yeah.
So we,
I know some parts of the path forward. I just need to like get it a little more flushed out before I bring it in front of them so they know I'm serious.
I think the closest high school I can even think of is Aviation High School in New York.
New
City.
York, and that's where actually, to be honest with you, as an educator, my career changed. This is my first full year, so everything in my life right now is like last minute. That board I finished this morning. And I did not know that there was an aviation high school in New York until this morning when I was looking for logos to put on there for my dream. And when I was Googling aviation high school, it came up. And then someone in the back had mentioned, well, why don't you think about going there and see how they do it? Right? It's not that far. So that's probably a next step that I'll do. You know, like I'm gonna put together this plan. not just girls, right? I mean, we're definitely gonna say, let's get the girls in, but it's gonna benefit everyone.
Liz, I love that you brought your dream board. I think that's amazing. I love
I-
your dream.
Thank you.
I love that. It's awesome. Well, since we're here, let's give them a round of applause. I thought that was great. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Round of applause. And how about a round of applause for Harshita? Harshita. Now, one last question, Harshita. Are there more STEM videos to come?
Yes, I will be posting them. It's kind of hard right now with like school and field hockey
Yeah.
and everything, but it will happen.
Excellent. Well, I'd like to use some of them maybe for my girls' summer camp, so I'll be in touch with you, okay?
Perfect.
All right, well, thanks. Thank you, everybody. We are officially finished. Thank you. I'm gonna close it down.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Bye. But you can't see me. I'm over here.